I used to think burnout looked like collapse, crying, panic, rage quitting, but mine looked like something else entirely. It looked like success. I was shipping fast, signing clients, hitting revenue goals. Everything from the outside said I was thriving. But inside, I felt gone. Not tired, not overwhelmed, just empty. There's a belief that burnout is loud, but what if the real danger is when it's quiet? In this video, I'm going to tell you the story of how burnout crept in without warning. I'll show you the signs I missed, what I tried that didn't work, and what finally brought me back. If you're a founder, indie hacker, or solo builder, this might be the thing you need to hear before it hits you too. A few months after I left my job, I had a week that looked perfect on paper. A product launch that got attention, new leads coming in, a few nice messages on LinkedIn, but internally, I felt nothing. I remember staring at the dashboard that Friday thinking, I should feel proud. I should be pumped. But all I felt was this weird numbness. It wasn't a crash. It was a slow disconnect. And that was the first whisper of burnout. But it didn't stop me because builders don't burn out, right? I told myself, this is just a phase. Keep grinding. I doubled down, took on more, woke up earlier, worked later. The voice in my head said, you're lucky to be doing this. Don't complain. I skipped breaks. I skipped gym days. I even skipped meals. Not because I had to, but because I was scared that if I slowed down, everything would fall apart. That voice got louder every time I sat still. Then came the moment I just couldn't ignore anymore. One morning, I sat down to answer a simple email. Something that should have taken me 5 minutes. 45 minutes later, the email was still open. My hands hadn't moved. It wasn't that I didn't want to do it. I just couldn't start. It was like the engine was running, but I was stuck in neutral. I looked around and realized I wasn't overwhelmed. I was emotionally checked out. That scared me more than any deadline I've ever had. But the weirdest part, I wasn't sad. I wasn't angry. Here's what I learned. Burnout isn't always chaos. Sometimes it's quiet. For me, it was feeling nothing after big wins, procrastinating things I normally love to do, losing the drive to create even when I had ideas, and the guilt that followed, that made it worse. You think, I chose this, why am I tired? But your body doesn't care about your goals, it cares about the pressure. So I tried the obvious fix, rest. But rest didn't work. I took a weekend off, then a few days with no calls, but I still felt flat. Because the real issue wasn't time off, it was the way I was working. So I changed the game. I said no to projects that didn't excite me. I set real working hours, no more evening Slack replies. I redefined success as how I felt at 5 p.m., not what I shipped. The difference, I started enjoying work again. But what really saved me was one habit that I still do every single week. Every Friday, I check in with myself. Did I build this week? Or did I just hustle? Did I spend time creating or only reacting? Would past me be proud of how I worked? These small check-ins, they anchor me. And now I put my daughter to bed every night. I have dinner with my wife and I still build with joy. But there's one piece I haven't talked about yet. Burnout didn't just hit my energy. It hit my creativity. Ideas that used to come freely felt forced. I'd sit down to write or build something and stare at a blinking cursor. And at home, I was there, but I wasn't present. My wife would ask, are you okay? And I'd say, yes, just thinking about something. But the truth was, I wasn't thinking. I was disconnected. Burnout builds walls. It isolates you. even from people cheering on you. When I started sharing what I felt, things changed. I wasn't alone, and neither are you. Here's what finally helped me recover. I put up boundaries I hadn't dared to before. I turned off all work notifications on weekends. No Slack, no emails, nothing. I removed social media from my phone entirely and only check it once a day from my desktop. At first, it felt wrong, like I was dropping the ball. But over time, I started to breathe again. Weekends became sacred. Evenings became peaceful, and my mornings clear. These boundaries weren't just productivity hacks, they were lifelines. I wasn't escaping work, I was learning to contain it. Burnout didn't kill my ambition, it refined it. If you're feeling that weird numbness, don't wait for a breakdown. Start small. Audit your energy, protect your joy. Because burnout isn't the end of the road, it's the sign you need a better map. Did you like this video? I share founder stories, DevRel insights, and growth tactics every week. So click that subscribe button and stick around.